Hey, it's SARA JEIHOONI, and I'm hanging out in the Kelly Alexander show.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, it's Steve McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Luddy.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous? We are so excited to welcome Bravo reality TV star, recording artist, and someone who has just dropped a brand new EP called Pretty Girl Complex, SARA JEIHOONI, to the Kelly Alexander Show. SARA, thanks so much for spending time with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk about you being a breakout Persian female artist in the music industry, because I think it's always super important how a person's cultural background influences, whatever they're doing, whether it's music they're producing, maybe it's poetry they're writing, whatever it is. In your case, it's music. So what does it mean to be Persian, and what does it mean to be representing the Persian community?
Oh, wow. It's interesting because I grew up I was born in this country, but I speak Farsi and I come from a very Persian, strict Persian family. So growing up, I grew up actually in Indiana, and there wasn't a big population of Persians. And especially back then, I couldn't necessarily turn on the TV and see girls that looked like me, that were Persian, that were doing music or pursuing entertainment in any way. So it didn't really feel possible back then. So it's probably why I got a later start in it, because it's not something that's necessarily promoted within our culture to young girls. It's kind of like you grow up, you either become a lawyer, a doctor, or you get married. It's like there's no other thing you can be. And in my family, my mother was very she wasn't, at that time, she definitely supports now, but at that time it wasn't like go pursue the arts or this and that. It's like, no, you go to school, you get an education. I don't know what this whole artsy world is, but my dad was very supportive in that thing. And the arts, of course, education was always number one, but it wasn't necessarily encouraged in our culture. And I think that's also something that a lot of the girls in Iran go through too, and I think all Persians. So now that I'm older and I have decided to pursue it and stuff, I know when I see another artist who is Persian who does it, I just get so excited, because it's just showing the young Persian girls or young Middle Eastern girls that it's okay, and wasn't something that I saw a lot of. And it's probably why I didn't actually pursue it until later in life.
That's amazing, because, and now too, it's you often hear the phrase, you need to see it to be it. And
yes.
So you're doing that now. So what has it felt like? Because I'm sure you have tons of people and hopefully lots of girls from the Persian community reaching out directly to you saying you have influenced me.
Yeah. The question is, what's it feel like?
Yeah. Do you feel a greater sense of responsibility because you just mentioned, there's not many of you yet?
Yeah. I've always, although I don't feel like I'm really showing up as a Persian girl, I think it is something that it's so in my DNA. It's probably coming out, indirectly, just how I carry myself within music and all of that, even though I'm not necessarily singing in my culture or this and that. I do have the influences, but I do think that just people nowadays that are online and whatnot, when they see a Persian girl doing that, I think there's a sense of proudness. And I think I was inspired when I see I know some artists, I think Snow Allegra. I love Snow, and I love the fact that she's half Persian. It just makes me want to root for her more, and it just makes me so proud to see that. So I just feel I just know how it felt to me when I saw girls do things that I liked that were Persian. So I just can only imagine, I do get messages about it, and it does make me feel really good. Yeah, I do, because it's important to me.
I'm very excited about the fact that you have an MBA in finance.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you having an MBA in finance helps you navigate a very tricky entertainment industry.
I still make a lot of mistakes. It's still very hard. I'm still getting cheated all the time. I'm like, how do I have an MBA and I'm still falling in for these? Like, I'm not, I don't know. It's so complicated. It's just such a different world. And it's kind of new to me. And I think the entertainment industry and music industry is probably one of the most difficult industries I've ever had to navigate. And I've worked with, surgeons and healthcare, and like I've worked in oncology, I've done all the things, but for some reason, like this is just a animal. And but but at the end of the day, I do use it because as an independent artist, you are, managing your own budget, you are investing in yourself, you are wearing every single hat, you are picking who you're working with, you're the one, doing wardrobe, everything. And so you really do have to be able to do everything. So indirectly, I didn't know subconsciously that's what I was doing, but yeah, I use it everything. This is a business, at the end of the day, every decision comes down to business. So yeah, but I'm still making some mistakes. I think I'm still have to get like growing pains of like a new industry. But I just know that one thing I am learning is like as soon as I'm making the mistake fast and I'm pivoting quick.
Do you find that because you come from a finance background and we just talked about you mentioning that it is a business, do you find it's easier for you to, in a way, as an independent artist, represent yourself because you can kind of put two hats on and be like, no, I need to be business Sarah right now to make sure artist Sarah is taken care of? Because I know like a lot of super creative people that are only creative minded have a huge issue trying to be business minded.
I think absolutely. Now that I've like kind of have a little bit more experience, when I first started, I just felt like, I need these people. Like I can't really, I have to just like put what I need aside right now because I'm still learning. But as I made more music and as I was in the studio more and I kind of learned more, I was really able to put on the business hat and be like, okay, no. Like I have to, vouch for myself now. And so I think it just has gotten stronger and stronger just as time has gone on. This is my first EP. So the first few singles and stuff, I really was just like, I felt at people's mercy. And so I was like, well, I need to still learn, so, but after I, had those experiences, I was able to move forward in a manner that was more suitable for me, because I had learned some things. But yeah, I definitely am glad I have it.
Joining us on the show is recording artist and reality TV star SARA JEIHOONI. Make sure you follow her on social media at SARA JEIHOONI. Let's talk about the new EP, Pretty Girl Complex. First of all, explain the title and why you chose the 6 songs that you did, because I'm sure you had more and you probably had to whittle them down.
Yeah, Pretty Girl Complex. Like, I mean, if you look at the cover art, it is me, but it's my silhouette, and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at my self-reflection. So it's like, I think it kind of just is a representation of, every girl and just her just basically, embracing all the complexities of womanhood now, and what it's like. And just like a lot of self-reflection is involved in this EP. The 6 songs I picked on there, they're a bit each song is a bit different. And I did that intentionally because I have been trying to find my sound and what is going to be, what I want to be, kind of like what I want it to be. And I realized, all of these are me and I don't need to have just like one style. And I also knew that because I did start music a bit later, I was thinking about this project as like on a bigger scale, like my catalog. And I was like, these have to be my young, fun, not too serious, like, records, because the music will mature and it will grow, and I did it very intentionally. And even some of the song titles and song choices I made, I really kind of thought, what would I want a young girl to hear right now? What's the message behind it? What do I really want to kind of like reiterate what has been important in my life? And I think a lot of the topics that I talk about on there is a lot about, there's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of, kind of like encouragement to know yourself, to know your value, to have self-worth, and, to not give your power away, to not settle, to go after it. So I think at the end of the day, it's just like a really good message for young girls. And I just felt like all the titles kind of would be something that they would be drawn to.
When you were creating this or these songs, were you listening to any music in particular, or were you staying away from stuff to not be influenced?
It's so funny. It's interesting. I've been obsessed with music my whole life. There's never a time where I'm in my car and not listening to music. It is I'm like obsessed. I can't even, if I drove somewhere from one direction to the next direction with no music on, I would be like, wow, that is so crazy to me. I have music playing all the time. But it's so interesting because I was wondering this recently. Once I started creating my music, I was so in my music and what I was doing, I actually stopped listening to other music. But I know that my music is influenced by the stuff I was listening for all of the years prior. But it was a very interesting change to know how once I was really making this project, which it took me a year and a half to put this together, I stopped like being so obsessed with everyone else's songs because I was so in my own zone. But it had never been like that before. But all these songs are definitely come from a place of inspiration in the past, for sure.
And can you name some of those artists that you have been influenced
Uh,
by?
I've been influenced by so many people. I mean, a lot of male artists, but female artists, I think, I grew up loving like Beyonce, Mariah Carey. They were always like iconic my whole life. Girls I really love now, I've always said I love Snow, I love SZA, I love her, but I still listen to Mary J. Blige, Brandy, like all the girls. I love them. It's like that's got to be the hardest question you could ask me because I just feel like there's just so many. I can't even imagine. But so many pop and R&B girls that I've just grew up loving. And so, yeah.
Do you think you take elements from certain people and like, for example, like, because a lot of people that actually watch my show, because I'm a huge Janet Jackson fan, uh, like, there's certain people that say, oh, like Janet's this, it has influenced me, like her, especially her showmanship, let's say on stage and how great she is as a dancer. And then someone might say Mariah Carey for her vocal ability. Like, do you think you have different artists that have influenced you in different ways?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do think that the music, it's like, I can play it for somebody and be like, oh, it sounds like so and so. And I think, yeah, I'm like, well, it probably does, because I love that artist. So it would only make sense. But yeah, I think there's bits of it, I think that they all have a bit of somebody in there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were the people that influenced me that I heard. And I was like, oh, I want to have a song like that. I want a song like that in my catalog. So yeah, I'm sure.
Now the EP is out. Are you already working on new music? Like how are you adjusting to knowing this is out? Are you putting a stage show together? Like how's that all working?
I'm kind of doing a bit of both, right? I have not performed yet, so now that I have actual music that could be enough for a show and stuff, I'm working on that for the right time. That's like, what does the stage show look like for me? That is being created as we speak, so that's something that's taking precedent right now. But I'm itching to get back in the studio. So I literally said 3 more weeks, I'm getting back in there. I don't care. I was like, I'm going to focus right now on what I have to do. But in 3 weeks, I will be right back in there. I always have to be creating at least, something at all times. So yeah, I will be in there very soon.
Now you were on, I have to touch on this. You were on Bravo's Shahs of Sunset,
Yeah.
which obviously I'm sure, has impacted your life in many different ways. How has it being on that show impacted your career as a music artist?
Well, it's opened the door. I'm so grateful for that. It's definitely opened the door. It's interesting because after I did Shahs was such an experience that taught me a lot. One of the major things that taught me is that people are gonna judge you no matter what. Like whatever you do, even if in your mind, like if you blink the wrong way, it's a problem. You really start look back and you're just like, wow, you really just can't care. You know what I mean? You really can't. People take things so left or right. And it was just like a crash course and just like it gave me a lot of strength and then confidence to be like, all right, listen, I I'm not going to please everyone. So I think all of those things, and I had to be very vulnerable being on that show and, exposing yourself so much that I think, it does make like doing music and putting your music out and sharing that's a vulnerable thing, and to be judged and to be criticized or critiqued or whatever, all of that. Yeah, it definitely prepared me for that. And I think, the show, reality TV, it can kind of knock you down a little bit, not to be negative, but it can. And I feel like after I did the show, there's so much going on that I just felt like when I did my music, I just kind of felt like, well, I was at a low point. I felt like there really can't go much. It can't be worse than this. So I can only go up. I might as well just do it. I really just felt like that, honestly. And I never really said about in an interview, but it just is one of those things. It's not an easy experience, and to be judged by so many people. So I definitely has helped me with my music. It made me not care, and it made me actually go for it. And the opportunity came because I did Shahs. So in a crazy universe, that's how it all came to be.
Would you ever do another reality TV show, or do you think like that was enough because
Ah!
it was it was heavy, I'm sure at certain points, for lack of a better
Mhm.
word.
Yes, I would do it again. Because I'm psycho. No, I'm kidding. No, because I'm a Sagittarius, whatever. I, I always say, did it kill me? No.
Do you think
No.
though that because like I know you said it made you not care, but because you were criticized and had to deal with all the, like the slings and arrows of social media, I'm sure, and other avenues, do you think you were a bit more guarded in the studio when you were recording because
Oh,
you maybe didn't want to let everybody in?
yeah, I'm more guarded and everything. I hardly share anything on social media anymore. It was like, before I was like, oh, I don't care. Well, I'm living my life like a da, da, da. I don't care what anybody says. What can they say? And then I was like, oh, they can say a lot.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, oh, just don't give them anything to say. But yeah, no, it did, because I felt like when I made the music, I felt like I was making it from a place of all of the comments I'd heard and the way it was perceived. And I was like trying to not, you know, give into those things. And so it did, yeah, it have to be honest, I'm sure it definitely like played a role in my mind. I was like, oh no, they're not gonna like that because they're gonna think I did whatever. It does play. And but at the same time, I was still very authentically myself. I probably just, scaled it back a little bit in the beginning. But um, yeah, I don't know. It definitely does. But I would do it again if it was the right situation and the right show for the right thing. And I think I would do better this time, because I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this goes. All right, that's fine. The first time you don't really know what you're getting into till the cameras are on, and you're just like, wait, what?
Was it challenging for you to deal with the way you were edited?
No, it wasn't the edit, because all of that is real. You know what I mean? Like if I said something, I said it. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like there was a lot more depth, and there was a lot of that. I think it wasn't a full story, and I think there were a lot more sides to me that just weren't shown. I don't mind how they edited me, to be honest. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a side of me for sure. I can't be like, oh, they made me look a certain way. I just think there's a lot more depth. I think there was a lot more reasoning behind a lot of the things that they showed that just didn't make air. But so I just think there's like a fuller picture, but I'm not really like, oh, they made me seem like I'm something I'm not. I'm like, no, that's definitely me. There's more, but that's definitely me too.
Now, I have a couple of questions for you. I call them fast facts so that people can get to know you like a little bit better. What's the screensaver on your phone?
Oh, okay. Right now, it is a vision board, a collage. And every time I go out around people, I change it to just like a pink screen, because I'm like, pink attracts love apparently. So I'm like, keep looking at pink. But when I'm by myself for days on end, it's a vision board.
I love that. That's great. I've never had anybody give me that answer before, so that's very cool. What is always in your fridge?
Always in my fridge. I'm really like I always right now I'm like having green grapes. I don't know, they're just so good. I just grapes. I literally think there's only grapes in my fridge right now.
If you could collaborate with any artist, like in top 40 right now, like who would that be and why?
Oh my God. Shoot for the stars right now.
Yeah, shoot for the stars.
Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
Okay,
Who
well, I
doesn't
like
want
that.
a verse from
He's a
Drake?
Canadian guy, so we'll take that. That's good.
Yeah, who doesn't want a verse from him? Like, are you kidding me? If we're gonna go there, might as well go. Ask for the greatest, right?
If you could switch places with another artist or producer for one day, who would it be and why?
Another artist or producer for a day.
just to see what their
Probably
life is like.
Probably Beyonce because like, I want to know, what all the access. I need to know who are she's going to be working with the best of the best. I want to know the access for sure.
Apart from your family and friends, who's the coolest person that we would know in your phone that you could call up or text?
Oh. Oh my God, who could I say right now? Are we gonna call or?
We don't have to call. I just want to know who it is.
Oh wow, I gotta plead the fifth on this.
Okay. That's
There's
fair.
a lot
That's
of
fair.
really cool people in my phone.
And before we wrap up, I always like to get this question answered because I love to put stuff out into the universe. So what is Sarah Jeihoonie trying to manifest for herself within the next 6 months to a year?
Okay, the next 6 months to a year. I want to manifest a collaboration with a male R&B or hip hop artist and have a single with one of them by the end of the year because I love the way I've done some work with some guys and I just love the contrast in our voices and I feel like there's just so many things we could talk about and lyrically and stuff. So I really want a male feature this year, which I don't think it's gonna be that hard to get. So
amazing. Sarah,
yeah.
thanks so much for doing this. It's been so fabulous to speak with you.
Thank you so much.
That is Sarah Jeihoonie. Again, don't forget to follow her on all of her social media at Sarah Jeihoonie. And of course, check out her new EP called Pretty Girl Complex.
Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.